Welcome back everyone to another Penguins Plays On video, and today I've seen Weapons, and I am a horror fan. I like horror movies. I love horror movies. It's one of my favorite genres, and when I saw Weapons, all I had to hear was the plot, and I saw the trailer, and I thought, this movie is about to be one of the best horror movies I've seen for a while. And this year for horror movies, in my opinion, has not been good. I have not seen Together yet, and I don't think I'm gonna see Together at all. All the horror movies I've seen this year, not too good. I've seen Wolfman, which was pretty bad, and Final Destination 6, where a lot of people like it, but in my opinion, it's just not too good in my opinion. I don't count Sinners as a horror movie, but if you do want to count Sinners as a horror movie, it's, in my opinion, it's better than Weapons. But this review is going to be a spoiler-free review, but it's also going to be probably my hardest spoiler review I've ever filmed ever. Because if you saw the trailers, okay, even if you've seen the trailers, you barely know what's happening in this movie. All you know is that one day at 2:17 a.m., all these kids run away from their home, and they're all from the same classroom. That's really all you know. You don't know what happened to them. You don't know why they left. Without saying any spoilers, this movie is an amazing movie, and let's just get into it. So for the first time ever, y'all, all because I cannot speak on spoilers, because if I can speak spoilers, there's actually a couple of negatives I would love to say. But because there's no spoilers, I can't think of a negative that is not a spoiler-free negative. So let's get straight to the positives. Because my first positive, the acting. They got the best cast of all time. Because look, there is not a main character for this movie, okay? This movie is not a first act, second act, third act type of film. This movie is basically in chapters. It goes through a lot of characters, and it's just like, it shows the name of the character, and it's gonna show what's the main part about their character, and then it'll go into another character, and then another character, which is really cool because the actors are some of my favorite actors in Hollywood right now. Also, sorry guys, this is Penguin Z Plays On from the future, but I full and forgot to talk about how each character, because there's a lot of characters, and all because there's no main character for this movie, really. I mean, Julia Garner's character is basically the main character, but all because there's not no main character, each character gets their time to shine, and you really, you fall in love with each character and you feel their emotions. Another thing I was not expecting, that, you guys might hate me because I did say, in my Final Destination 6 review, I said, my main negative for that film was because it was so funny. There was so much comedy, and it was like, I don't like that in a Final Destination movie. And in this movie, there is so much comedy, but I will take it only because the comedy feels like real comedy. If this is happening to you in real life, these are the type of reactions and things that are happening that is gonna happen in real life, which makes it very funny. I love the plot of this movie and love the story. Just one night, all these kids just run away from one classroom, and now the whole town hates the teacher. And that's just so amazing to me. But actually, I can say this here, okay? I'll talk about this more in my spoiler review. This is going to be 100% a spoiler review. There's no question. I'm going to make a spoiler review for you guys. But my biggest negative for the film is how a lot of the things in this movie don't, connect. There's maybe 5 to 6 things that happen in this film. They never really address why it happens. And they're big things too. They're not no little things that could be like, okay, that's fine. There is 2 of those 5 things that are huge to the story, and we don't get those connections at all. And I love how this movie was filmed. The way this movie is shot, peak cinema. It is honestly a beautiful movie to look at because it's just so many unique ways to use a camera. And yo, this movie is still, when I said there's funny parts and comedy to this movie, it is the same amount of scariness in this movie, because you'll get those jump scares. There are some scary jump scares in this movie, but this movie is scary, especially to the end. At the end, it's so funny because there's comedy scenes and there's just terrifying scenes happening at the same exact time. You don't know if you should be scared or happy or what. This is gonna be my review off this movie, okay? As a horror film, okay? I'm actually going to give this movie as a horror film, I'm going to give it a 9. I'm being too generous. 8.5 out of 10. It's a good horror film, you know. It has the comedy like a horror film. It has the horror film. It's scary. It has a good concept. It has a good story. But there is some negatives I'm going to talk about in my spoiler review that will probably come out tomorrow or Monday. And now, guys, a full review as a film. Me, Penguin Z Playzone, I am going to give Weapons, okay, Weapons, I'm gonna give Weapons a 8 out of 10. I really love this film. I enjoy this film. I love horror movies, so of course I was gonna love this film if it was good. And I still just can't get it out of my head. So I'm gonna be so happy to make a spoiler review tomorrow. Be ready for that. You are going to love this film if you love horror movies. Like, this is a just amazing horror film. I wish I could say more, but I gotta keep this a spoiler-free review. But yeah, guys, that is it for today's video. I'm quiet right now because it's like 11:30 and my family's asleep, so I would be yelling, but my room is not soundproof. But yeah, guys, that is it for today's video. Yeah, I'm Penguin Z Playzone, and like always, everybody, peace out, everybody.